Hey folks, John Holtz, mybaitshop.com pro, coming to you with really what is one of my absolute favorite techniques. Right now we're in the fall of the year. A lot of people actually kind of look over this technique. It's top water. And I don't know that over the years from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s on, there's been a more durable, more reliable bait than the original Jitterbug. Now, I know the folks up at mybaitshop.com have been getting a whole lot of questions on these, and we're going to try to take you through a few techniques and tips to help you be a little more successful. This is actually one of the original Jitterbugs. You can buy them new still, but there's something about those originals that are really still pretty cool. So come along with me, and we're going to show you a couple things that maybe will help you in your next successful Jitterbug fishing outing. You know, when fishing one of these Jitterbugs, probably the first thing that you really need to think about is what's attached to your lure. Now, anytime I'm fishing topwater, I try my best to fish mono. Now, the thing about mono that's awesome is it's inexpensive. It also floats, whereas other lines don't. While I love fluorocarbon, it's going to sink for me. So what I like to use is about a heavy mono, pound test mono as I can. This happens to be a 12-pound test mono. This will get the job done. It'll float right up nice. Now, you know, sometimes when I'm fishing a frog or some other top waters, I do like to use braid. The problem with braid, especially when you're fishing maybe a top water lure that might be kind of a little hard on the bite, that braid's not going to stretch at all. When you pull that, it's going to instantly react. One thing that I know a lot of people have trouble with topwater is missing those bites. They'll blow up on it, but then you don't end up with the fish. By using that mono, that stretch, it's going to give you just that extra half second to be able to set that hook and let that fish eat before you pull it away from it. Now, the next thing I'm really going to focus on while fishing this classic bait is going to be my rod. This rod happens to be by 6 Gill. It's a Sega, and it's got to have one of the best parabolic arches you possibly can have on a rod. It's super sensitive, and even though it is a heavy, normally with other rod makers, I'd probably be fishing a medium heavy because I want that to be able to have that nice parabolic bend, just like what you're seeing there. Now this longer rod, it's going to do a couple things for me. One, it's going to allow me to launch that thing, and I mean a long ways with very little effort. The second thing is, and this is where a lot of people do have some trouble with that top water, when that big fish blows up on it and you just want to, well, this one you're going to have to use a little more area to be able to pull back into your hook set. So it does give you that extra second to be able to think about that, let that fish chomp on it a little bit better before you go and set the hook. You know, folks, the last thing I need to talk about when I'm talking about this topwater fishing is really kind of a mindset issue. A couple things that you can do to actually train yourself to be a better topwater fisherman. The biggest thing is practice. Just like jig fishing, or if you're drop shotting, or anything else that you might do out there in the fishing world, you got to practice it to be good. One of the, I think, mistakes that I see a lot of anglers make is when they do see that blow up, they just want to set the hook immediately. Try to figure out some techniques to slow yourself down. One thing, if I'm starting to miss some bites and I'm thinking it's on me, I kind of got to have that honest conversation with myself and say, okay, you got to slow down. So that next one that boils up out there on me, when it boils, I'm going to go ahead and say, he's got it. Before he actually has it, that slows me down just enough to say, oh, he's got it, and then set the hook. Thanks so much, folks. Hope that maybe this helps a few of you out with your next topwater fishing experience. You know, of all the different kind of fishing, I still got to say I love topwater maybe more than anything else. Whether it be a jitterbug, a Zara spook, there's so many different options out there. And the cool thing is it's always visual and it's always so much fun. So it doesn't matter what time of year it is, spring, fall, summer, it doesn't matter. If the temperature is right, if the pressure is right, if the conditions are right, you're going to have a lot of fun fishing the top water. So whether it be a classic jitterbug like I'm holding in my hand, or some of the many other things that my bait shop has in store, please go check them out, buy you some, make sure you got a My Bait Shop bait tied on anytime you go to the lake.